Hello everyone! Welcome to a brand new episode of the Long Coat Mafia podcast, the internet's most hated Mafia-themed geek podcast. It is I, the Reverend Godfather, the show's main host and frontman. This week we have a special guest on the show. But first and foremost, happy 2020, happy New Year. I hope all of you had a wonderful time celebrating the brand new year. No, I'm not going to make the Barbara Walters joke because good chance some of you will not get it, but I don't care. This week we have a special guest, MadEye Marky. You've heard him on the show a couple of times in some of our retro episodes. Today we have him on just talking about our memories with guests over the years, with going to conventions and so forth and so on. It was just a random thing that I thought, would be interesting and a good conversation to have. And I know right now it's about 1:30 in the morning. This episode should be already up and live for you guys and gals. But the main thing is, this is nothing against Mark, but he's not really familiar with the pacing of this show. He remembers the old pacing of the Electric Eye because that's when he was last on a show with me and Big Candy, but this time it was through Skype in a way, so he wasn't really familiar with the pacing, so it took me a lot of time to kind of edit out the Skype issues and a lot of the pauses that were made. So we just wanted something that we could just deliver to you guys and gals. It's a lot of the memories we've had with conventions past, great guests, and everything else. Speaking of which, we'll kind of save some of the stuff for our year in review. And the reason why we don't really have Big Candy on this week's episode is because he's feeling a little bit under the weather. And I want a perfectly healthy and ready to go co-host for the new year. This is not dissing MadEye Marky in any way, shape, or form, but we will have Big Candy back on either through Skype or hopefully through in studio or at the Daily Grind, because I know he wants to take a good look at our new mixer and get his hands and get his thoughts on it. But with this episode, I must tell you, even though it took me a while to edit out some of the very long pauses in it, I don't know if it's because MadEye is unfamiliar with the new pacing of the show and how we do things, or the fact that it's Skype. But because this was a quick, okay, let's get ready and go, I didn't really have time to kind of fiddle with the controls to make sure there was no echo. But in the editing process, I know on my side there was a little bit of a echo. Please forgive that. As 2020 gets on with things, I'll clear things up with that echo. I do blame a lot of times changing of equipment, meaning that when I did test our new soundboard, the Zoom Live Track L8. That could be one of the reasons why a lot of the software was a little wonky in recording. And when I switch equipment to our solo mic, things get even more wonky because the system doesn't really see things the right way. So please forgive the lateness of this and the aspect of, well, the echo. I know this seems kind of a lackadaisical type of episode, but we're trying to get the ball rolling with 2020, trying to get our mojo back with 2020. I say that just because some of y'all remember as we got closer to the end of 2020, I didn't sound right, honest to God. I didn't sound right. I was in a burnout mode, but thanks to David Kerr and the interview with him and those behind Bloody Summer Camp, and speaking with Big Candy, I'm starting to get my mojo back and getting excited for this year in regards to what we're going to do. one of which is that we will be at Fourth State Comic-Con in Hagerstown this March, end of March. I think it's the 21st and the 22nd of March this year. When I get everything together and announce who's going to be there, and the card, and everything else, you know what? We're going to try to get you all out there with the interviews, the panels, the live recordings that we tend to do at shows like this. And with our new soundboard, we'll be able to do that and bring you the best episodes we can. And we will do that. And be as in may, we've heard rumors as well as another Paracon coming to the Roundhouse in April or May. As soon as we know, you'll know. That means another set of interviews, convention coverage, panels, and guess what, folks? We found out this in December, and I'm happy to report we were invited back to ECBRO's third annual Bigfoot conference. We didn't expect that there was going to be another 3. Honestly, we didn't think it. Then all of a sudden, Daniel Benoit says, hey, we're doing a number 3. Do you guys want to come back and do your convention thing this June 2020? And I was like, hey, Big Candy, you want to go back? They just invited us to do year 3. And he was like, hell yeah. Tell him hell yeah. And I was like, Daniel, hell yeah. We'll be there. So good chance June this year, depending on a lot of ifs, but more than likely we'll be back at the ECBRO's third annual Bigfoot conference. So if things go well and awesomely, we'll have pop culture stuff for you, paranormal stuff for you, cryptid stuff for you. Who knows? We could get the superfecta things and get UFO stuff for you. How awesome would that be? I'm excited for this year. I'm excited. Maybe we'll get some more stuff from Don Ramirez. Who knows? Who knows what this year holds for the Long Coat Mafia podcast. So enough of me bringing you the energy, bringing you all this. Next week we'll do a year in review. Next week, we'll do a solo year in review. It'll be kind of a mixture of what I just said and what happened last year in 2019. And when Big Candy comes in, we might do a kind of a decade in review. So, that being said, here's that Skype call with me and MadEye Marky. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll see all of you on the other side of this Skype call. All right, ready to go? Here with me, folks, is the one, the only. The last time you all out there might have heard him on this side of the program was a retro episode that we posted up. It's been 4.5 years right now as of this particular recording, so I don't know when that particular episode was posted up. It was probably in and around a Baltimore Comic-Con that we either missed or were going to at some point. It is the one, the only, MadEye Marky. Yeah, that's right. Some of you might have heard him on the show before, only in retro. This is the first time on the Long Coat Mafia podcast. Say hello to the nice people out there, Mark.
Howdy.
And let me be one of the first few in the podcasting world, if not the only podcaster in the world, to wish you a Merry 2020. And folks at home, as you probably guessed, I probably didn't go to that pun out there. So, and some of you might be old enough for that pun, but still, I don't care. The reason why I have MadEye on this episode is because we're kind of getting into kind of the con celebrity aspects of things. I said, well, no, I haven't really recorded this week's episode yet. You want to come on and talk about convention celebrities. And I want to specify out there that there are kind of two different convention celebrities. I don't know if MadEye can agree with this, but that are me being on the
Yours and also mine.
Let me just define it. I want to say there's two different kinds of convention celebrities. One is the invited guests that are there, the actual celebrities, whether it be Jason David Frank or the Gal Gadot or the Mark Hamills, those celebrities, and there might be the actual convention celebrities, those who are well known in the actual convention circuit. Sometimes these are the cosplayers. May often than not, they are the cosplayers, or they're the people that actually they might be considered the con moms and dads or the con bros of the convention circuit. That means that if you go to a particular convention a lot, these are the regulars. They've been there for so long, everybody kind of knows who they are, and it's kind of hard to kind of they're the ones that are the most welcome to the shows. They are literally the convention celebrities. You could have a Gal Gadot there, but it's, oh look, Tommy's here. Tommy, it's Tommy. If Tommy's not here, the show ain't gonna go well. That kind of convention celebrity.
My definition is different.
Go ahead, tell me.
What it all boils down to is you're going to meet that celebrity that's really sweet, really nice to talk to. Like when you left me alone in Baltimore that year, I sat next to Mike Mignola for 20 minutes, talked to him about conventions like we are now, and Hellboy.
You get a lot of those. Like I was telling you, I met Billy Tucci, I think, dear God.
I've seen him at every Comic-Con.
Oh, yeah, usually there at every Comic-Con that you tend to go to, or people tend to go to. He's been in San Diego, he's been in New York, he's been at Baltimore, he's been at Philly. I think I might have met him briefly in Philly, but I met him more so at Baltimore, and I met him
He was just at the last one in Philly that I went to in August.
Yeah, he's been around. He's literally been around, and the thing is, I've gotten page art from him. I've gotten sketches from him, and the thing is, I went to Baltimore this past year in 2019, and he knew my name, and I haven't seen him in like over 4 years, and he remembered my name. How cool is that? It's like you don't expect that from a big name artist or any type of celebrity, like saying, "Hey, Frankie, it's you. How have you been? How's it going?" That sort of thing. You don't really expect that, and to have that kind of almost personal interaction with a quasi celebrity or a big name person is always kind of reassuring, and it's a fun thing. And folks at home, being a part of this, it has kind of grown a little bit, having a actual convention family. And some of you at home, we're letting you know that we will be part of Hagerstown's 4-State Comic-Con this year in March. We will have a booth. They're at a new location, so we're going to see how things work out this year. Maybe we won't be in an all obscure spot or in Cosplay Alley. So nothing wrong with Cosplay Alley, just that we tend to get shadowed by a lot of the wonderful cosplayers that are there. Nothing against them, just that it's kind of hard to gain the attention with somebody that is who they are and what they do. So that would be fun. That way we're not taking away from the wonderful cosplayers that are going to be at this event this year, and we get to kind of do our own thing. So we get to do that. But
going back to Billy for a moment, for those listening and are curious about Billy Tucci, look him up online. He's the creator, artist, I think, of She.
Yeah.
SHI. A beautiful samurai lady that is just, he draws her perfectly.
And the thing is, he's been gaining a little bit of notoriety in the Kickstarter movement, along with Ethan Van Sciver, with trying to crowdfund your own comics, and he's been doing a wonderful job of it. And and he's helping a lot of indie creators crowdfund their comics too, and helping them gain funds and extra traction online with being a big name and helping them out. He's been so kind. Special shout out to him. He's been doing such good work, and he does such great work. And I can't...
Yeah, but Ethan Ben Shamit's a jerk. It said so on his table and everything when I saw him in Philly.
Oh,
he was back in Artist Alley. Written on the top of his table in front of him was, "I am a jerk."
He does that because he knows he gets him attention, and he's one of the many people that is kind of hated in the comic.
I hate him. I understood why he did it, because at the time there was still a DC booth at that convention, and he was signing stuff for DC there. But people were coming up to him at his booth in the back. You know this as well as I do from going to conventions for years. There's always that one. I don't fault them for wanting to get autographs and stuff. But when we go through the lines, I know you remember this from 2002, 2003, I think we went. We have like 2 items to have signed. A comic and our book. For those of you, what I mean by a book, I mean like a sketchbook you can have people autograph. It's a great utility to have.
And I'll add it to this. It's I'll agree with MadEye. It's a great utility to have. Some artists will say I'm not doing sketches right now. As long as you're understanding to that fact that that hey, all I'm asking is an autograph. I'm using it as a kind of a catch-all if need be. They're more than happy just to sign the book. They're more than happy. Some of them will just do a quick sketch anyway. But as long as they know that you're understanding, they're cool, you're cool. It's no problem at all.
At the time I walked up to him, I didn't have my tattoos at the time, but I saw Jim Lee stand with. For those who don't know, Wizard Magazine was. I'm not sure if he's associated with it anymore, but he was the editor-in-chief, the head honcho, whatever, Garib Sheamus.
Either way.
He was talking with Jim Lee. All I wanted was an autograph. Jim took my book and my pen and continued talking to Garib Sheamus and drew me, I think it was Jubilee. He drew me a Jubilee sketch while he was not even looking at it. He's just like sketching something and talking to Garib at the same time.
And you gotta figure when
I walked away going, wow.
Yeah, we've had a lot of those instances, like when who was it? It was father and son. I forgot who it was that was signing that. It was like Ramita. It was father and son signing. It was father, son, and son because at that time,
father, son, and grandson.
Yeah, were there. The grandson was maybe, I want to say, no more than 8 at the time.
Yeah, 8 or 9 maybe.
And I had my book over. Again, it was like, yeah, there's a long... Because the line was long, and they reenacted. We're not really doing sketches. I'm like, hey, no problem. I'm cool with, just getting the autographs. That's what I'm here for. That's what the book's here for. And sure enough, Junior started to do like a quick sketch, and Papa just snatched. He's like, "Do I have to clean up all your messes?" And finished the sketch and signed it too. And I mean, I'm just laughing my ass off. And it was one of those wonderful things I was not expecting, and it made a cool experience for the show. Had lots of wonderful experiences, funny experiences.
That's the thing people may not know about comics. I don't know how to put this. They're hereditary, if you know what I mean. As in father to son to son.
Yes.
I met Andy Kubert and Joe Kubert and Adam.
Yeah, the Cuthbert family.
Yeah, they run one of the best art schools around. But I met Adam and Andy at a booth for Versus. Remember the little card game they used to have out?
I think so.
I met them there. I think I gave you they had big cards they were signing and stuff. And that was the year I had my tattoos on. And I told both of them that I didn't have the one comic with me that I wanted to get signed. Batman vs. Predator. Which was a crossover. I don't know if you really call it a crossover, but it was a special set of comics. Three issues. They did a second one, too. But it was 3 issues. Both Adam and Andy did the art and the writing and stuff for it. But they loved it. I loved that comic. I said, come on, what do you... Batman going after a Predator with a Louisville Slugger is freaking awesome.
You gotta figure, a lot of the mainstream artists that you and I spoke with and know of, like the Cuthbert brothers, Mike Mignola, Billy Tucci, and the guests that we've had on this show, folks, Ken Hunt, are all wonderful people to talk to. Literally, they are wonderful. You could hear stories, especially when Ken Hunt is at a convention and talking about, he's literally doing his artwork, his art thing, talking about the industry, talking about, funny stories of a lot of the artists that are out there. And we have a great interview with him on our show. Go back into our archives and look it up. I think it was late 2018 we have an interview with him, so you might be able to catch it on iTunes, but either way, go to our main website, which is thelongcoatmafia.podbean.com. Look up like November 2018 and snag it, because it was a wonderful interview, and throughout the whole interview he's chatting away about everything, and it was a wonderful conversationalist. Now, there's a few artists, not going to name who've turned into a real ass in recent years, but there's still a sizable chunk.
That goes back to remember how you define your 2 categories? I don't disagree with yours, but I have my own, and it covers everybody. There's that artist like Mike Mignola and Ken Hunt and everything that you can talk to. Even that one, what the hell is his name? The one that's never at any convention, but he's always there.
I think I know who you mean. Oh, that was the running gag of Wizard and us for a long while. They're like, oh, he's autographed this time.
He's here.
But he's here. I got 5 of his autographs today. But
there's that kind of person that you can go up to. And just, you get... if it's a long line, you get maybe 15, 20 seconds, maybe 30 if you're lucky.
A lot of times they're nice folks.
But then there's that other side where they can be very machine-like, acting like they don't care. They're there just to get paid. The funny thing is, more and more at conventions, when we first started going to conventions, they didn't charge for autographs.
Yeah,
it was part of the deal.
Yeah, it was part of the deal.
Now they charge anywhere from $20, which is a decent price for an autograph, up to $80 and $100.
If not more. Mark Hamill's up there close to like $300-400.
Yeah. Like Adam West, the one year at Born Horror Convention, we didn't know if he was $100, $80, or $60 because they kept moving. He wasn't there on time, and we got the 3 of us, my friends and I that went. We got tired of waiting for him, so we left. But there's the good side and the bad side with anybody you're going to meet. But what I try to do, and Chris has seen this firsthand, I like to use something like, I'll give an example, Milo Ventimiglia from Heroes. It was big at the time. He hadn't quite done the Wolverine anime that he did after that. But I met him in New York at the New York Comic Con in 2008. And I try to do it with everybody that I meet, like, well...
Mark.
It's basically, you meet up with them, and they get tired of hearing about the same thing over and over again during convention. Well, I loved you in Heroes, and I went up to Milo.
Okay, I'm back, and I told you to stall.
Oh, I couldn't. You said it too quick and left.
No, I'm gonna have to. Folks at home, I'm gonna have to add a little bit of silence. Sorry about that. But on my side, I was trying to tell you, a few years ago. This is back roughly when the show first started, and I think I mentioned it on the show, is the fact that I got a chance to meet Brian T. And folks at home, if you're not sure who this person is, he's been in a couple of stuff. Some of the geeky stuff, but most of the people that he's played were the butthead characters. Hell, I'll stick the E on this anyway for it. The asshole characters, kind of how like the actor for Malfoy is always pigeonholed into these asshole characters, but in real life he's like really nice guy. Brian T.
He's the one that was.
He was Shredder. He was Shredder in the most sequel.
He was DK in, or call him Takashi.
Yeah.
In Tokyo Drift.
Yeah, and I think he I think he also had like a bit role in one of the latest Jurassic Park movies too, and he was always kind of like this asshole type character. And I met him in I think 2015, maybe 2016. I think it was 2015 when I went to AwesomeCon. They had all these the main reason I went is they had all the voice actors for the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They had a couple of folks from Disney, like the original voice for Darkwing Duck. So I had money at the time. And when I was getting my autographs from the voice actors who did the Turtles on original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cell, and they were like, "This is awesome. You should get Brian T's autograph." And I'm like, maybe I would, maybe I'm not. And no sooner did I get Sean. I'll correlate the two stories together. I was initially waiting on Sean Astin to show up. He was late. He was more than late. He was scheduled to be there, I think, around about 12 to start his signing. He didn't show up until like 1 o'clock, almost 1:30. And I was starting to get pissed. I was like, what the hell? But when he finally came in...
lines.
Yeah, a line was starting to form. It was... I was one of the first people to show up. So I wasn't all that mad because I was in the front of the line. Who cares how many people behind me? But I still wanted his autograph. I was mad. I was getting more than mad because he was late. He was not just late, he was very late. And I have a train to catch on the way home. But when he did show up, he was utterly Sean Astin was utterly nice. Utterly apologetic. Super cool. He was really nice to me because he was apologizing because they scheduled him for a couple of radio broadcasts because he was part of the show, and I think still Lord of the Rings was still very big at the time, so they were kind of using him as promotional aspects. So he was just very apologetic, and it's like, how can you be mad at that? Literally, how can you be mad at somebody who was just, I'm sorry I'm late, I apologize, I didn't mean to hold all of you up, just very nice, very apologetic.
How can you be mad at a fellow Goonie?
Right, how can you be mad at that? And after that, I was just coming off that little bit of mad, and I was looking at Brian T's signing fees. I think it was like $50. And I was like, damn, I'd get Brian T's autograph, but I only got like $35 on me, $40. And his handler was kind of saw my face. She was like, what? And it's like, I'd get his fee, I'd have him sign myself, showed it to her, and it's like, but I'm down $10. And she was like, kind of, because he was talking to, I guess, one of the show people that run the show, and yeah. She kind of nudges him, like, look what he had to, she kind of explains it to him. It's like, he was going to have you sign that, but he's got, like, a little bit short. He's like, he was, like, being cool, like, a little bit cool about it. He's like, what'd you have me sign? And I show him, he's like, dude. It's like, I want to sign that. And he was like, I want to sign it. I'm like, dude, your fee is like $50. I don't have $50. I have 40, it's like, I'd be more than happy to do it, but I'm not. And he looks at the handler there and he says, I'm signing it for 40. You're going to take 40. that's it. I want to sign that. And I'm like, dude, I'm trying to be honorable and respectful to him. I'm like, dude, you don't have to do that, man. He's like, no, I want to do this. I want to sign. It was like, folks at home, I'm not being it might sound like I'm being an ist, but I'm not. And I was trying to be respectful and kind, but in a way, I think it's part of the Japanese culture that way too, to also be respectful and kind as well. And you have someone who's trying to be respectful and kind to someone who is also being respectful and kind on the other end. And
what way you do it?
It was like there's that little bit. Hey, he's like, just let me sign it. Well, you just pay the lady $40. I'm like, all right. And it was that wonderful thing that, in essence, I have the voices of all 4 turtles and, in essence, Shredder, in a way, signing it. The resistance of the whole thing, the thing that topped it off was the next year, in 2016, when I went to Baltimore with Big Candy, one of the creators of the Turtles was there to do signings. I'm like, you know what? What a way to top off this sell is also to have one of the creators sign it as well. And his handler was like, he won't do any sketches. I'm like, dude, he's signing my cell. What more can I ask for? It's like, yeah, I'm topping off the cell. I have 4 voice actors that voiced the characters. One of the people that played, the lead bad guy, I'm getting a creator to sign it. How else, I don't care. And sure enough, he sees the cell. He draws a little turtle character quick sketch on the cell and signs the cell. I'm like, oh, dude, that's awesome. And he was so happy to do it, too. I'm like, really? This was worth me standing in line for an hour.
I met Peter Laird at one of the conventions.
So did I.
And he was thrilled just to be there.
Right.
And he had 4 table.
What was that, Mark? You got kind of cut off for a second through Skype.
He had 4 colored markers in front of him. He's like, who do you want? I said, surprise me. He did a Raphael head sketch in red marker.
I think with me, he did like a purple sketch for mine. So Donatello, yeah. And that was, but for
me, the one I wanted, and I got the one you wanted.
Right. And the thing is, we had a lot of these great, on the other side, I won't say on the flip side, we had, I don't know about you, but I've had a lot of, or at least a few folks on celebrity-wise that were almost on the other end of the spectrum. Instead of uber nice, that you got rubbed the wrong way or you got a negative vibe from. And I won't say it was a negative vibe. It was just that I was, how I felt during some of the years at Wizard World because of how the convention itself, those behind the scenes, handled the guests, the ticket holders and the guests and all that. It just rubbed me the wrong way that year. I think it was like 2004, 2006 or something like that. And I walked by and he wasn't really on the guest list. It was, I think, Brian O'Halloran, a.k.a. Dante from
O'Halloran.
Brian O'Halloran. Halloran. That particular year, I was like, and the thing is, I told you and I told Big Candy this, like, if I ever met this man again, I'm going to apologize to him because he deserved it. Because I think that year I was just in the mood. I was I'm having a bad time at this particular convention. And I accidentally had him say, I'm not supposed to be here today. And I think he was saying it so many times that day, he was getting tired of saying it. And I was like, I didn't realize it until after I got home from the show. It's like, dude, I gotta apologize to this gentleman. What I did to him, I didn't mean to do. And again, many years later, when I'm at AwesomeCon, he was there. I was like, dude, I'm not here to get anything signed from you. I'm here to apologize to you. He's like, why? What the hell did you do? I said, well, about 10 years ago, this is what happened. And I'm here I'm finally getting a chance to apologize to you, man. I am sorry. I didn't mean to do it. I was just having a bad con day, and he He had a big grin on his face. He's like, I get it. No harm, no foul. We all have those days. That type of thing. But still, on the other side of things, there was one particular. I'll say two. This was back in 2006 at a horror find I went to, and one of the guests there was just a complete butthead. Just like he couldn't even be bothered to be there. Like it just was like, I don't care. Yeah, I'm a dick. Yeah, I'm an asshole. Fuck you, go away. And it was like,
and who was this?
It was in essence, he's a big time special effects artist. He's been in everything. He's the guy that created the dick gun, if you know who I mean.
Oh, Tom Savini?
Yeah. He was a real dick at that show. He was a real asshole.
I've heard that before.
And
he knows his stuff, but he's a prick.
The other person you've kind of heard, folks at home, you kind of heard the story in regards to this. He's been in one of the latest Batman movies. He was one of the gangsters in it. One of the lead gangsters in it. And the thing is, as we told the story before, we were talking to one of the independent artists that were coming out of one of the 4 states, and he was bragging, hey, we got this major celebrity that was at the show for like a 10th of his cost, so forth and so on. And we were happy for him, but me and Big Candy were kind of skeptical until this gentleman comes out and says, kind of backs him up. It's like, yeah, I'm going to be in this guy's movie. How about you talk to me about it? And he points to me because we're introduced by this independent artist. Like, yeah, you should, get an interview from these 2 guys tomorrow. And he's like, yeah, let's get, an interview with you guys tomorrow if you're showing up. And me and Big Candy were having, not to go into too much detail and too much drama, we were having some issues, not between the 2 of us, just that outside the show we were having some issues, and we didn't think we would be able to be at the show the second day. Turns out we were able to do the second day, and this is we're covering it up. I'm trying to speed things along a little bit. We make our rounds. Things are busy at the show. I finally meet up with this gentleman to get an interview, and he turns around and tells me, yeah, I'll be more than happy to do an interview with you. $10. I was like, what? He said, yeah, $10.
What are you talking about?
And I was like, dude, the only thing I have on me right now is $20 for groceries. And he's like, oh, come on, just give me the $10 for the interview. I'll be more than happy to do it. I was like, oh, sorry, but no. And later on that day, he calls me out saying, I don't have, here's that gentleman that didn't have $10 for an interview. I was like, oh, I want to, call him out. I'm, in essence, calling him out now. But I'm not using his name. And the thing is, Big Candy's missus is a very, as shy as she seems, she's very much of a social butterfly when she can be. And I'm saying that as a credit to her. She's a very wonderful woman. And I don't mean to piss her off in any way, shape, or form, because I know she could kick my ass. But,
no, when she's done with you,
yeah. But she got pissed. She got pissed because we kind of adjusted our schedules and everything else to do this and get that particular interview. But I'll say this, the good that came out of it is that we got a bunch of wonderful interviews besides him. I think we got 2 more convention panels out of that, second day. We got 3 more interviews out of that day too, extra day. One of which was the wonderful, the very much beautiful, the very polite Monique Dupree, sister of the one and only underrated actor out there, Tony Todd. And I say that with all due respect to both him and his sister. I think I'm more afraid of his sister than I am of Big Candy's missus, but that's beside the point. but still, she was a wonderful interview and everything else. And, folks at home, check it out. Check out our interview with Monique Dupree, the original Gatter herself. Again, look it up. November, I think it was either November, December of 2018. Please visit our main website at thelongcoatmafia.podbean.com to check it out and search it. Download it and listen. It was a wonderful interview. Plus, we have interviews with Ken Hunt, Jesse Green, who is Captain Decapitate in the wrestling world. So feel free to check them out. Wonderful interviews, wonderful panels that we got. We in essence turned a negative into a positive. So that was a wonderful. What?
So you have to remember turning a negative into a positive. Stone Cold.
Oh,
remember
yeah.
when we met him?
Yeah, folks, we got a chance to meet Stone Cold. I think what happened was, with that, when it came up to be our turn, his handlers decided for some ungodly reason not to stop photos. And he got pissed. Though we didn't get our photos, I think he yelled at the handlers and said, "You're starting them up again."
That's not the part I'm talking about.
What?
Remember how the cafeteria was right behind those booths? Remember we were sitting there and this one little kid was so brokenhearted he couldn't get a picture, not with him, but of Stone Cold because the handler told him not to. The handler had to step away for a second and the kid was still standing there like, go, get your picture. He actually turned and looked at the kid and smiled. That was awesome. Because sometimes the handlers are out for... You'll meet a star that's really great, but the handlers are very business. Like, move it along.
Sometimes, I want to say this, sometimes it's justified because there were times where I wanted to talk to a particular celebrity, but there was a couple hundred people behind me trying to get an autograph. Yeah. So at times the handler has to be an asshole. And I want to say this, as long as the handler is a polite asshole, I can deal with it, especially if there's a shit ton of people behind me. And I realize there's a shit ton of people behind me, but if there's not a shit ton of people behind me and the handler is an asshole, I'm going to be pissed. Not at the celebrity, but at the handler.
Well, this past August at the Philly Convention, the Keystone Comic-Con, that's the one I went to. Actually, really well put together. Needs a little more spacing, a little more map kind of thing to follow where everybody is. But when I got there, the website said one price for Jason David Frank. For those who don't know, Jason is Tommy the Green Ranger. And
the original Green Ranger.
Yes, the original one. The Black Ranger, the Red Ranger, Lord Dacon now, I think it is. But the price was too high. I was told one price. All I wanted was a picture with him. That's all I wanted. But when the handler that was there, I was talking to her, I was looking at the sign, just shaking my head. She's like, what? I said, the price that was on, actually it was a convention worker, not a handler. The handler was really sweet too. Convention worker asked me what's wrong. I said, I had this much money set aside just to get a picture with him, and the price just went up almost $20. I can't afford that. I said, well, all I really wanted to do, I had two of my poetry books I wanted to give him, because I like sometimes for specific stars to give them something. Like appreciate them a little bit, we know you're here all day, have a look at this. And the handler came out and talked to the girl. They realized that the price from the website wasn't correct. I said, all I want to do is give them a call. I had my two books, like I mentioned, and I had, most people won't know, but it's a product from Funko called Pint Size Heroes. I had a bunch of them from Power Rangers, including the Green and the White Ranger. And I didn't want anything from them. I just wanted to, give them those things. The dude came behind his table, stood beside me when I was in my wheelchair, and took a picture with me. That's class. Because the handler explained it to him, what was going on. I had to wait a couple minutes to talk to him, but he came up from behind the table, and I gave him this stuff. He's like, do you want to get a picture? I'm like, yeah. I paid nothing for it.
That's the thing with a lot of folks out there. A lot of times, it might seem like something that the guests, whether it be an actual celebrity guest or an artist, a big time artist, they might seem like a dick at a very large convention, or very put offish at a large convention like a Wizard World Philly, Baltimore Comic Con, or San Diego, so forth and so on. You all have to figure that this is a particular large show, and a show such as that, let's say a Wizard World Philly or Baltimore Comic Con, they have to deal with not a couple of hundred or 2,000 or 3,000 guests. They have to deal with maybe 15,000, 20,000 people coming in. So they have to be a little bit rushed, and they have to be more machine-like or wooden, or they can be friendly, but they don't have that much time to spend with you. But at a smaller show, they have that time a little bit to spend. They're not going to have like 300, 400 people getting their autographs. They might have maybe not even a quarter of that. So they could spend a little bit more time with their fans and be more human and more fan friendly. Even though that there are some big name cons that have I forgot his name. He's well known in the Doctor Who community. I forgot his name, but he's really fan friendly. He could have like 100 people in line, and he'll spend like 10 minutes with each one if need be. He's that fan friendly. So it all depends on the person, but a lot of times the smaller show, the celebrities and the big name artists love those smaller shows because they could be more fan friendly to the fans and to those that show up.
That's exactly what Mike Mignola told us at Baltimore. Or told me, because you walked away to get what the hell was it? Ed Powell. You went for his autograph for Big Candy.
Yeah, me being on the side of the table that I am now, folks, I get to know that. I get to see. It kind of ticks me off is because, a lot of times what hurts me or gets me mad a lot of times is because, folks, I'm the indie creator. Yes, again, I'll have a table at this year's 4-state Comic Con, but I have to compete, in essence, with another, a little bit bigger podcasting group in the area, only because, in essence, they have, where I might have $100 or $200 to spend on a table and stuff for the table, they have several $1,000s that they can throw around, and they tend to not only can they get the bigger booth and the more elaborate stuff for their booth, the extra funds they toss at the show. So they get free interviews, they get more access, where I have to fight tooth and nail to bring all of you the interviews and everything else for you guys and gals. And that just sometimes it makes me mad because I can't get it because I'm not tossing thousands upon thousands of dollars at a particular show to get stuff that I should have at least some form of access to. And what Big Candy's kind of brought up is like shows, whether it be a Baltimore or a 4-state or what have you, that they should have a type of program that similar to a VIP pass, but for creators, independent creators, meaning if I wanted, where I can't get a press pass due to the fact that, let's say, Awesome Con doesn't want to acknowledge our show's existence for whatever damn reason and give us a press pass. If they offered up, let's say, equivalent of a press pass VIP for, let's say, $200, we get, in essence, press credentials. We get a chance to go to the green room and interview folks that we so feel like we might have. That $200 gives us a 3-day pass and maybe our choice of 1 or 2 guests to have an interview with for 10 or 15 minutes. You know, that sort of thing. That way, on us, we could get the access and we get a ticket, and they're not losing money, and we get that experience and stuff for you, our listeners. But they don't want to work that.
Well, what do you say we give your listeners a lesson, so to speak?
Yeah, true. I don't mind giving them.
I'm talking about not about what we were just talking about. This is
stall again, Mark. Stall. Keep talking.
But there are certain things when you go to a convention that you need to have. Basically, you need something to have signed. You need to have something to carry stuff with. But there can be simple things, like if you get a book that you want signed and you forget it at home, don't be brokenhearted about it. Pick up. They're readily available at the booths. I have several of them. I know Chris has a bunch of them that are signed. Chris even got me one that was signed by Todd McFarlane. They're great things that they can sign. You sign the front of them. Just one key, if you do that, remember who signed it. Because you can look at it and go, who the hell wrote that? And you might not remember. Because some of them signed it just like a little doodle. But there's always something you got to take with you. Something that has to be there. If you're short on funds, pack a lunch. Definitely pack a lunch. If you're getting things signed, like I suggested earlier, a sketchbook. When you get a sketchbook, take a comic book backing board with you to flip underneath the page, because if they sign with like a Sharpie, it can bleed through, and it might end up hitting the page behind it. Always pick up Sharpies. And comic book backing boards are another thing you can take with you. Get a comic bags and boards. You can get them at the convention, stuff like that. But if you're getting, say, pictures signed, like I have several on my wall from Sid Haig, Robert Englund, Alice Cooper, and stuff like that. I have them on my wall. Donna Mayer, Danielle Harris.
Two things. Sorry to intrude, but folks, I'm back. Actually, 3 things. 3, thank you, Mark, for stalling, and 4, rest in peace, Sig. So. Sid.
But you always have to have that you need for pictures. They do sell them at the convention. You can even get, if you're into prints like I am. Not like the prints like Chris would get, like comic book pages. I'm talking mini posters. I have several on my wall. Swamp Thing, Night of the Creeps, Harry Potter. I have that stuff on my wall too. You can get, the general size of them is 11 by 17. Yeah. There are vendors at the shows most often that have them.
Yeah, we met a guy at this year's Baltimore Comic-Con, not this year's, 2019's Baltimore Comic-Con. He was selling prints. In essence, he'd draw them in the 2 foot. There were 24 by 30 prints. He'd draw them that size and print them out, and in essence copy them that size in black and white. But he'll color them to your liking, meaning that if you wanted, like he had the old school Batman and Robin. If you wanted Batman to have blue eyes and Robin to have green eyes, he'd be more than happy to do that for you. But they were super cheap. And as I put up on my personal Facebook, it's I don't have any more room for prints. Oh look, me at a convention. Oh look, prints for cheap. But that's
prints. Some of the booths will have prints that come with sleeves.
Yeah,
they're basic little plastic sleeves, like hard plastic, not little flimsy stuff. Some of them will have the flimsy ones, but they're not that swift. But they'll sell you for $10, sometimes 3 for $20, and they're great little things, like little 11 by 17 movie posters. There are several different sizes. You can get one that fits a regular poster.
Yeah.
Again, but the ones for your autographed pictures are key. If you have extra money at a con, pick a couple extra up.
Folks, again, see our videos in regards to our long-form videos on our YouTube channel in regards to our walking tour of Baltimore Comic-Con. All 5 videos of it. Oh, dear God, they were long. Stay tuned. We might have shorter videos coming up in regards to them. We'll probably have them either this upcoming year or hopefully soon. Big Candy says he wants to work on him, but he's under the weather right now, so send him some well wishes if you so can on our Facebook page. Stay tuned to after the show in regards to that. So where to find our Facebook page. So, we've had a lot of wonderful experiences and fun experiences at conventions. I mean, some of them were hysterical.
Bonus thing, pack a lunch.
The what?
I said bonus, pack a lunch.
That all depends on the convention center.
Yeah, but usually when you have to buy a $3 pretzel or a $3 20-ounce bottle of soda, pack a lunch. Doesn't have to be anything.
Or, folks, let me put it like this. Let me put it like this. Please see the rules pertaining to the convention center that you go to, because the convention center in Washington, D.C. recently became uber dickheads, and no food or drink is allowed in any way, shape, or form into their building. You can't even bring in closed containers in most cases. You can't, because they'll tell you they can't.
I wouldn't go to.
The what?
That wouldn't be one convention I wouldn't go to.
It's not so much. It's any convention that is being held in that convention center. They're not allowing any type of containers or whatsoever. I had to leave Normally, I bring in like a standard water bottle with me that you could get at any Walmart. You know, the ones that go on bikes.
Yeah.
So that way, I could fill it up at a water fountain and have water with me. I wasn't allowed to bring that in because reasons from what we were told. One of the reasons that we were told, or we came to find out, is that they were changing contracts with their food vendors that they had inside the convention center, and the new food vendor was not allowing any other food product or containers into the convention center whatsoever. And I had to leave my container in the green room that was provided for those with press passes. And I felt that was an utter dick move from the convention center themselves, because you have people that suffer from low blood sugar, and there's folks like you, MadEye, that have diabetes, that it might be beneficial for them to have something to snack on to keep their sugar levels at a decent level in some cases. I'm not saying all diabetics have to do that, but sometimes for some who have diabetes, that's a great way to go, or a good plan for them. And they're in essence telling them, oh, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, essentially.
So, yeah, and to me that's a dick move. But either way, some cases, if you ignore that, or you're able to go to a local McDonald's or a local Subway nearby where food is definitely cheaper, most cases that's a good thing. And like in Baltimore, when they've been having it in the summer, now it's closer to, I think this year Baltimore Comic Con is in October, for some ungodly reason somehow. When it was in like August and early September, they'd have food trucks right outside. So if you didn't want the food that was inside. The what?
That would be kind of cool.
They literally had all kinds of food trucks outside back in 2016 when me and Big Candy went after a few years. And that was, just a fun sight to see. There's a good chance you might be paying a little bit less than inside, but still there's more convenience and more of a selection to have sitting outside the show than the same old hot dogs and $5 turkey sandwiches that are just white bread, turkey, and cheese, and that's it. But last year at Baltimore Comic Con, I was a hypocrite. I'll say this, folks. I was a hypocrite at last year's Baltimore Comic Con. I've told people, don't get soda or water or anything else or food at at convention center because it's too damn expensive. Yeah, I broke down and spent like $8 on drinks because I was damn thirsty. I needed it. Sometimes you gotta pay up and get that soda, get that,
That very same thing happened to me and my friend Gail at Walker Stalker before they started going down the tubes like they have been.
Yeah.
But we were hungry, and my sugar was dropping. I hadn't eaten anything all day while we were there. I think we had Subway on the way down, but I could feel myself getting weaker and weaker, and I needed something. So we spent money on pretzels. Almost $7 for, mind you, they're big damn pretzels. Like a little steering wheel or something almost.
Something that you could get for $3 at right near, like if you were at Baltimore, you get them outside right near the stadium for like $3.
But they were salty as hell. Yes. Like you could see more of the salt than the actual pretzel. We had to sit by the garbage can and like shove it off. We both took one bite. I said, I'm going to buy you want the pretzels, I'm buying soda. It costs almost another $7 for 2 sodas. But we were there. That's why I suggest you take snacks. Beef jerky, Slim Jims, whatever. If you're allowed to take it in, take it.
Yeah, I'll agree on that.
Whatever it is that you like to snack on that's going to keep it going, even protein bars, if you're into that. But always have something to eat and something to drink, because you could be online, if you're there for, like, say, Norman Reedus. His lines are incredibly huge. Or that one year we went, and Michael Turner's, God rest his soul, his line was wrapped around the whole room.
Right.
But we were there first thing. I think we were like 4th or 5th in line. But take something with you. If you have to take meds, make sure you take water. Some facilities will have like a water fountain, but take an empty bottle with you, fill up that, and then sit there and have your drink. Little things that help you out along the day.
And let me put it like this, folks. Sometimes I know you might hear me say it a lot of times. You might hear Mark say it a couple of times. I'm not sure if he said it prior, but I think he could agree with me. Being polite will get you a mile. Literally, it'll get you a mile. Sometimes will get you remembered in a good way. Meaning your please and thank yous. And sometimes if you see that guest a year later or 2 years later, they'll be the first person to go, hey, I remember you. Come here. Hang out. Come here. Sit down. Sit. They'll be more than happy to, remember you, give you extra things next year. Not saying that will happen, but it all depends on the person and how nice you were, how polite you were. It has happened to me. I'm sure it's happened to Mark, and it's probably happened to a bunch of other people too. Literally.
But nothing will ever beat being referred to as unique.
Oh, yes.
The three of us
being
referred to as unique gentlemen by Kenny Baker, who played R2-D2.
The late Kenny Baker, who played R2-D2. Yeah, that was one hell of a story. That is one hell of a story to tell. Here's the thing, folks. This was when, 2006 maybe? When did we go to Philly with...
5 or 6. We went...
No, I didn't go to 05. So it was either 04
I
or...
did.
You went to 05.
I did.
You went to 05.
I went 2 years by myself.
Yeah, you went to 05 by yourself. I'm talking about when we went with Bot.
07.
I don't think we went 07. Did we go 07? When did we go with Bot?
That has to be 5.
That had to be 4. I didn't go to 5. I skipped a year because I was pissed off.
Maybe it was 4.
That had to be 4. It was you, me, and Bot.
And 2 or 3 of them together, and then we skipped one. I went.
Yeah, then I went in 06, and I think I went in 07. And that was the last one I went to. But I'm referring to when it was you, me, and Bot, which had to be at least 05. Not 05. You got me doing it. It was 04. Kenny Baker was at there doing autographs. I think I got his at the time. And I think in that same little area was, what's his name? Ray Parker. He was there. I got his autograph that year. That's a separate, interesting story. But we come back out from, I think, getting our autographs from Kenny, and we're almost on the other end of the convention center, and Kenny's handler comes up to you and comes up to us and goes, he wants to speak to you guys. And we were like, oh, crap. And I think I was like, I was the one that turned to you guys. What did you guys do? And it was that aspect of, I don't know, what'd you do? I'm like, I don't know what you guys do. I didn't do nothing. And when we finally got back there, we find out that Kenny wants a picture with us. And this is the days when, right before MySpace was ever that big. And this is way before Facebook, because if it was during the time of Facebook, we would probably seen that photo on his page. But this was way before photos online were a thing. And we got a photo with Kenny Baker because we were a bunch of unique individuals, according to Kenny.
Now, allow me to describe how we were unique to him. Me, I was wearing just the ordinary convention t-shirt. No, sorry, that was the year I was Superman, because I was meeting Allison Mack that year.
She was back again? Allison Mack was...
No, in year.
No, that was 02. Allison Mack was 02.
You sure?
Yes, Allison Mack was 02.
One.
Allison Mack was 02. The person who played Lois Lane might have been at that one, at 04. If not 06.
Yeah, I think it was 06 because Noel Neal was there too that year. But I was wearing your standard comic book t-shirt. Nothing major, but I had a backpack on like everybody does. My friend Eric.
Our friend Eric.
Skinny little dude with big ears.
Wearing a bowler hat with a Do Not Disturb sign on it.
And an Underdog t-shirt. Chris was wearing, I think you were wearing, that was the year you wore the Vader helmet.
Yeah, because David Prowse was there, and I wanted it signed by him. And I think that was the same year Kevin Smith made a return visit, and I got my Kevin Smith autograph at that particular show as well. And I was telling people that
we were referred to as unique.
And that's the one I've told people that...
I made you get an autograph from the girl, not the kid.
Which kid?
Daniel for Boba Fett.
Ah.
Daniel Larson, or something like that. Daniel something or other. William Logan.
And
you're choosing between him and the pretty blonde girl who was one of the Jedi women. And it's like, dude, you can see him anytime. There's a pretty girl over there.
And I think I've told this before. The funny story involving Ray Parker. For those who don't know about Ray Parker, he is the gentleman who... Park.
You've been doing this for years. It's Ray Park. Not
what's he going to do? Kick my ass? I'll be more than happy about it. I'll put it on my YouTube channel. Ray Park kicked my ass.
I believe it.
And the thing is, I went up to him, and this was the year, even you said, you're not going to ask him that shit. I'm like, oh, you watch me. And it's like, I was going to get his autograph on the Star Wars script that I had. It was one of these collectible scripts that you could get. And now, Mark might have mentioned this before in this episode, in regards to how you have those buttheads that got to bring everything to somebody to get signed in order to, hence, they're not so much dealers. They're the asshole. They're literally the assholes that will. They're not dealers. They're not fans, but they're flippers. That it's the best way to call them, because they go there with an item to get signed to flip it on eBay or some site. They're not a dealer. They're a flipper. They're not a fan. They're there just to get more money in the long run. And in front of me were this, I guess, husband and wife team that were getting everything possibly collectible signed by Ray Park to get flipped on possibly eBay. And then comes little old me with this rinky-dink little script to get signed. And with Ray, you could tell by body... He can't really hide his body language that well, I guess. I don't mean that in a bad way, because when I turned to him and said, "Listen, Ray, I have a question to ask you," he went tense. And I could tell it was like, "Oh crap, no, another Star Wars question, mother sucker." And I was like, "Don't worry, it's not about Star Wars or X-Men or anything like that." And he kind of gave me that quizzical look. I said, "Listen, in X versus Sever, because I know you were in that, how tall is Lucy Liu?" And I just saw his body just relax, like, "Oh, thank God. Thank God. It's something not Star Wars or X-Men. Thank God. I'm going to answer this question." And he politely did, and he said it with a smile on his face. And still, he's a man that could probably kick my ass. And I'll put the video up on my on the show's YouTube channel saying, "Ray Park kicked my ass. I'm happy to show about it." Or "Ray Parker kicked my ass. All I got was this video." And I'll be happy about it. So, and that's been a standard that I've been saying with a lot of stuff, trying to get, when I ask, do interviews with some of the biggest celebrities, is try to talk to them about in regards to something that they've done that nobody else is going to ask about, and go different route, because
I tried to mention earlier, like with Vito Mentimiglia from Heroes. I went up to him and, he's like, "I know you hear story about Heroes and stuff like that, but dude, I really liked you in Dirty Deeds." And him and his handler lost it. They're like, "That's a fan." Not because of anything special, but like I said, they're just people.
Right.
And yes, they're there for specific purposes. Like, you go up to Dynamator and you'll talk about Starship Troopers or Birds of Prey. Erica Durance, you go up to her talking about Smallville or House of the Dead. Something like that.
With Diana, when you're talking about either Birds of Prey or Starship Troopers, you also, there's one thing I forgot about. I forgot about. She was in Saw. She was in a couple of the Saw movies.
Yeah.
And I was like, "You were in Saw? Now I loved Saw. I gotta rewatch these movies." And she's like, "Yeah, I was in it." I was like, "That's awesome. I got now I got to revisit these movies." And that's a fun thing to talk to them. This was, again, when I met her, and I met Casper Van Dien at AwesomeCon, I wasn't doing what I'm doing now. And there was practically nobody behind me, and I could have gotten an interview. So, maybe next time. Maybe next time I could sneak an interview. But that's if AwesomeCon will let me do what I can do. But so that's a different thing, folks. Expect that yearly rant coming soon. But either way,
like I say, it's just one of those things where, like I said, they're there for certain things, and some of them will talk to you forever about one project.
Yeah, especially when there's nobody there.
If you come up, you remind them about something else they did that you liked years ago. They get ecstatic. They're like, "Oh my God, this is a fan! Holy crap!" But not to say that, like for Ray Park, that they're not going to be a fan of, X vs. Sever or Star Wars or
what have you. Yeah.
But when you recognize them for something else and tell them that you like them, like, if I ever get the chance to meet Steven Dorff, who some of you may know from Blade as Deacon Frost, wasn't a bad character. But I would love to meet him and go, "Dude, I loved you in the game."
Right. And like I was talking with Sean Astin, is that one of the things I brought up, granted he was there because of Lord of the Rings, mainly Lord of the Rings, but at that time he did like one of the offshoots for Cabin Fever. I think it was like Cabin Fever or some crap like that. And folks, I do not like the Cabin Fever movies at all. Literally at all. I don't like the remake. I don't like the original series. And there were 3 movies, one of which stars Sean Astin. And I was like, at that point, I saw the 3rd Cabin Fever movie, and it starred him at that time. I was like, listen, the movie as a whole was terrible. I didn't like it. But you acted the crap out of that film. You literally sold that film on the way to your...
I don't think he was in the first one.
No, he wasn't in the first two at all, but he was in the third one. It was like the third or fourth one that he was in. And
because Roger Strong was the main one in the first one.
Right. And
director Eli Roth had a cameo in it. When they did the bonfire, he came out of the woods. God help me that I still remember that.
And the thing is...
I try to forget that movie.
Same here. I tried, but still, it's like you acted the crap out. I liked your performance. You sold your role in that movie. And, meaning I was just paying a compliment. He said, yeah, I enjoyed... He said... Sean was like, yeah, I enjoyed being a part of that. It was like working a comic book type movie in a way, a cheap comic book type movie. He said, I had a blast with it. You know, it's like, he didn't tell me I was wrong, but he was like telling me how well he liked playing that part. So it was, doing that sort of thing is fun, and talking with some of the actors. Sometimes, like I said, a lot of times you could do that at smaller shows with the smaller actors. What a lot of folks don't realize, I'm sure you'll agree with this, that out there, when somebody says celebrity, they're thinking the Schwarzeneggers, they're thinking the Stallones, they're thinking, the triple A list people that are out there, the mega stars, the Jennifer Lawrences, they're these folks that are big name people. They don't understand that in like the horror movie circuit, the big name stars are the Tony Todds, the Sid Haigs, these are people that are in essence, they're not A-listers to the general public, but to the fans, they're A-listers. They are known. They're wide known. Like if they see Tony Todd, they're like, oh my God, Tony Todd. Oh my God, Danny Trejo. Oh my God, these are A-listers to these people, to the fans.
A good instance for the deflecting from their main thing to something else, I met Alice Cooper in April of last year. And when I met him, I was in awe. I'm meeting Alice Cooper, school's out and welcome to my nightmare stuff. I mentioned one story about his music that I was bullied as a kid, and there was a thing behind the YMCA where old 45 records were being thrown out. And a boy came up to me and hit me in the stomach and broke all the records but one. It was Welcome to My Nightmare by Alice Cooper. And I looked at him, I said, you know what? I really loved you in Prince of Darkness. He said, I liked it too, but I didn't like the ending. And I was like, I didn't either. I live for the little moments. Like, you can meet a big star and all that stuff, but the little moments that come along they stick in your memory more. Like at Cheer Theater the one time, I'm sitting right next to Ashley Lawrence and Doug Bradley from the Hellraiser movies. And the room that we were in was hot as hell. It's one of the ballrooms and the air conditioning was off, or broken or something or other. And I'm sitting there, and this little dark-haired woman comes walking by and says, "You've got the best seat in the house." And I was in awe of who it was as she walked away. It was Dawn Wells.
Who was Dawn Wells?
Marianne from Gilligan's Island.
Oh.
And she actually, she touched my arm, she walked by and told me that. I was like, oh my, why didn't I? One thing you always have from a convention at least once or twice. I should have had my camera out. Like, I could have gotten a picture of Marianne.
One of the things I want to do is the person I got a chance to meet. Kind of too bad I would have had him do it if I had the funds to get an autograph of it from him. Just that when I seen him, a few times I was extremely broke at the time to get an autograph. That's the actor that played. Remember the original Pet Sematary?
Yeah.
He played the kid on that. He played the little. In essence, he was the little boy in that, and
I know what you're talking about.
And on his photos, every now and again, just to
people, the one who had the important line from Kindergarten Cop.
Right, but on the photos that he has to get signed, folks at home, you've heard me say this on the show before. What he tends to do is he puts googly eyes on some of his photos, and as funny as it's like he has his photos from like Pet Cemetery and Kindergarten Cop, and you'll randomly put googly eyes on them, and they're hysterical. It's like you look at it, it's like that's so wrong, but it's funny as shit. And it's like if I had the money, I'd tell you to leave the googly eyes on it and sign the photo because no one would believe me.
His name was Nico Hughes.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. He literally is. And just when I first walked by his booth at 4 State a couple of years ago, and there was like googly eyes on his photos, I had to stop and just laugh. And another thing, I wanted to tell about this one particular thing, folks. I've spoken to a good many voice actors over the years, mostly as a fan, but over the years, again, I've spoken to various voice actors, and I've heard interviews from various voice actors, and I've heard them talk about the best word for it is the magic that they do, regards to, because they are people that no one has seen but they've heard. Billy West and is one person. Let me see if I have her autograph on hand so I can get their name.
He was a dude. I thought Billy West was a dude.
Billy West is one, and the other one is like Sarah Long is the other person. They've done stuff that's like their film cred is like their voice cred is like a mile long in regards to what they've done. For those who know,
Frank Welker and Robert Cullum.
Right.
Cullen.
Sarah Long is the most known. She's done Fairly Odd Parents. She's done My Little Pony. She's done Harley Quinn. She's done. I mean, there's loads of stuff that she's done, but people don't know what she in essence looks like. People don't know what Billy West looks like. People don't know what any voice actor looks like, and a lot of them will tell you what they do is in essence is magic, because it takes talent to change the voice into what they do. And I got to witness 1 year at 4 State that magic, literally that magic. Let me tell you, guys and gals, this tale real quick, because I don't remember if I told y'all this. And we had 4 State had the person that voiced. She voiced various other things, but one of the voices she is known for is Pearl from SpongeBob SquarePants, and AKA Mr. Krabs' daughter. That's the whale, and a lot of folks that were coming up to her to get their autograph was SpongeBob fans. And I'm not saying there's something wrong with SpongeBob fans, but a lot of people know her for that. And she bent down. A lot of kids don't understand the aspect of voice actors like you would, I would, or someone else would. And one dad brought his, I think it was maybe a 4-year-old, his 4-year-old son. Obviously, most 4-year-olds love SpongeBob. And she knelt down to him. Obviously, the dad got the autograph, and she saw the 4-year-old son. And she said, "You know who I am?" And the kid just shook his head no. And she immediately turned on Pam, the Mr. Krabs' daughter, and said, "Dad, can you buy me the?" She's doing lines, she's doing the character, and it takes a second, and that's when the magic kicks in, and this 4-year-old kid recognizes the voice. It clicks that this is this character that he knows from the show that he enjoys, and it's like, oh my God, you see that magic in action, you hear about it, and you finally understand. And
I've seen a video like that online with Matthew Lillard, who was in the Scream movies. I loved him in 13 Ghosts. I thought he was great, but everybody predominantly knows him for Shaggy.
Yeah, and he became the voice of Shaggy, too.
For me, Shaggy and Velma were the best parts of the live-action movies. because I'm not a big fan of Freddie Prinze Jr. and definitely not a fan of Sarah Michelle Gellar. I think she's overrated. As for like Buffy, I had Buffy fans yelling at me for it. I watched Buffy for Willow and Xander, but I've seen it a couple of times. I'll have to find it on Facebook, or not Facebook, YouTube again. But it's this little girl at a con, and she's meeting Matthew Lillard, and he asks her, "Do you know who I am?" And she's like, "No." He starts talking to her as Shaggy.
And her eyes just light up.
Well, she was scared at first, but he kept trying to give her a comic book or whatever it was that he had, and she finally took it, and she was smiling. I mean, I've seen other things like that with actors and that. The best one would probably be Lou Ferrigno.
Like I said, you don't really understand that magic until you see it firsthand in regards to voice actors like that. And one of the things even I'm sure you've heard it before, I've heard it a couple of times, and it's the aspect of coming from like wrestlers, that ring focuses an energy, and it has a power upon itself that harnesses you don't understand that. And being a part of, talking with the folks, at the local independent wrestling troupe, and being near, even though it's a smaller setup, you can literally feel that energy being drawn in. There is a energy, I don't want to say it's a power, but you understand when wrestlers, like when he was live, like Piper, or like Cena, or someone like that, says that ring, you stand in the middle of that ring, you feel the energy coming from, focused in on the fans. That ring has an energy to it, and it's addictive. And just being near it, it's there. Large or small, it's there. It's me standing next to that. The few videos I've done next to that ring, it's like, my God, there's an energy here. There's a focus here. It's a positive thing. It's a wonderful thing. It's a great thing. No one can understand it without being next to this ring and understanding itself. And it's a wonderful thing. And to see that magic firsthand from an actor doing a voice role or anything, I'm going to get a chance to see that again. And sometimes you see it with the live action folks too. It's a weird feeling, and once you see it and understand it, it's wonderful. Literally, it's wonderful. And especially from the actors and actresses that are extremely fan friendly, and a lot of times it's from the smaller folks. Granted, some of the larger folks like Gal Gadot might be fan friendly, or the ones that are actually fan friendly, people get that energy off them. But it must be a wonderful thing. It is there.
Like I said before, I love the little moments. It's like when you get up to a certain person, you don't go to conventions just to get stuff. It's a good bonus, don't get me wrong. But just being able to go and see like your heroes and your favorite actors or actresses or voice talents or whatever, it's a fun thing. Some people just don't get it.
Yeah, that's the thing.
That's sad.
That's the thing. A lot of people don't understand. It's like, why are you going to a certain convention to meet so-and-so? You don't... What you said is like, you don't get it. Some people don't get it. Meeting someone like Billy West or Sarah Long, these are people that made the voice. These are the people that actually made the character, gave that character a voice. Whether it be Ren and Stimpy, the Professor, Fry, Timmy from or not that Timmy from Fairly Odd Parents, or Harley Quinn. They gave that person a voice. They made these people popular with the fans. And meeting these legends in their own right. A lot of them are humble that, like, we don't want to be called legends, but you are. You understand how many voices you've done. It's like you've made somebody's childhood.
Yeah, it's the thing. At times, some of the actors don't really, I'll say they don't understand, but sometimes they hear it from somebody about, like, how much you, like Stan Lee, God bless his soul. He touched so many people, you know? He made us nerds feel good about ourselves. You know, or meeting Lou Ferrigno for the first time, or Kevin Smith, or David Prowse, or whoever you see. It's, you know, yeah, you may spend, nowadays you spend a little money, but you don't have to spend a lot of money to have a good time at a show.
Right. And that's one of the things I've told many times on this show to many people. I had one person tell me, yeah, right. And I pretty much, when I had that the money to spend one time, they were the folks. Again, it's one of those things I might have said on the stories I've said on the show, that I pretty much sponsored their way into Baltimore. This was, I want to say 2013, maybe, I want to say. I don't think it was 2012. It had to be at least 2013. He was like, no, you can't, I'm not going to have that money. It's like, listen, I'll buy your ticket, I'll buy you lunch, I'll get your gas money. Get you in the door and back. And he literally went in with no money, nothing to spend on it. I told him, said, don't worry about it. If anything, go see a panel. And he was like, oh, yeah, it's going to be nothing but comics and, you know, this, that, and other thing. And I met up with him like an hour later. And he was like, you son of a bitch. I'm like, what'd I do? And he's like, you don't understand. I saw 4 vendors here today that I could have spent money on that I did not think would be here at a show like this. I'm like, what vendors? And he was like, I collect... you know, Matchbox cars. I like collecting Matchbox cars. There's like 4 vendors that are selling Matchbox cars. And I don't have the money to spend, and they have stuff that I want. I'm like, well, you didn't think... It's like, but all in all, are you having a good time? He's like, hell yeah, I'm having a good time, but I just wish I brought like $10-15 extra for, you know, to spend some on 1 or 2 booths. I'm like, hey, but was I right? You didn't need actual money to have a good time. He's like, yeah, you're right. But I wish I had like $20 to spend to get something. I'm like, well, at least I told you.
I remember going down to the one PhillyCon, and I had like a $200 budget. That's it. That included my ticket. But I also paid, it was my budget, only my budget, because I was staying down there. It was the 1 year I went by one of the 2 years I went by myself. And I had a blast by myself, you know. I didn't take as many pictures. I kind of learned that the hard way. But it's hard to put into words sometimes. Damn pretty parts.
Well, like I said, it was like that for me a couple of times at Otakon, you know, trying to split the time between being a quote-unquote journalist and kind of a fan. Because I'm there to cover a show. I got to do it in at least one day. And part of me wants to be a fan and try to enjoy myself. And try to budget myself for maybe the week or so. And
long story short, a lot of...
What was that?
I said, long story short, you don't need a lot of money to have fun.
No.
It helps if you want to buy something.
Yeah, true. It's even worse when you... Even if you have money to buy something...
Or by train. You don't need a lot of money.
No, I said you don't, but sometimes, like... When I went to Otakon, you know, it's like I wanted to get the mugs that they were selling. These were metal mugs. I thought they were going to be like $20-$30, but no, they were $60 a pop.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I'm not spending $60 a pop. If they were like $30, maybe, but not, you know.
It was like the tumblers. Baltimore had them, and so did New York Comic Con. They had character tumblers. I still have the ones I got from New York Comic Con when I was with Jackie, and the one from Baltimore when I was with you. I wanted a glass, you know, something to remember. I have them in cases on my bookshelf.
That,
little bits and pieces from those cons. Kind of like almost like a memory box.
Those tumblers that we got at Baltimore, I remember those tumblers.
They're like these.
Yeah, they were like, I remember when, that's one of the reasons why I try to tell people, it was like when I got rides to Baltimore, like 2013 and 2014, is that I want to get there early. I want to get there in line early. And they're like, why? You don't understand. They tend to give out sometimes they give out free stuff to the people waiting in line. And the closer to the front you are, the easier it is to get stuff. And thankfully we were there, but unthankfully they weren't handing stuff out. But you know this as well as I do. Is like when I first got one of the tumblers, we were there early enough in line to get the free tumblers, and I was like, I think at that time it was me and Big Candy, and we were thinking, oh yeah, these tumblers are going to probably be the size of regular juice glasses or something like that. But these are 20. These are like 20-ounce glasses, 16-ounce glasses. And like these are bigger than I expected, and they just gave us, them for free. Yeah, okay, we're not going to complain no more. And they were good quality glasses too.
Traditional pint glass.
Right. I think all in all, I've got like 4 sitting in my storage.
I bought a Batman one in Baltimore because that was the year Jim Lee was there, and I bought an Iron Man one from New York Comic Con, and I love them. I don't use them because I want to keep them safe. That's why I put them in. I use an old Beanie Baby case for each of them, and I put it. It's a little kind of like, I don't know how to say it, but it's almost like a keepsake thing. Like you want to remember the memories or something. Like the collages I used to do it after the conventions. Like the posters, the pins, the stickers, all that stuff. I put them in the frames and I hang them on my wall. I had one from Baltimore that year in 08 because I bought a large print from God rest his soul, Danny Castillo. Fantastic artist on Batman and stuff like, oh my god. But I bought a print from him. And it's been changed a few times over. But currently it's like almost like a showcase from all cons. Not just one in particular. Like I had the print that I got in 08. I have, if you remember right, I think you called me a bastard for it at the time. I have a long set of uncut cards from that first VIP pass I got at Wizard World. All Michael Turner art. All of it. Like, the kind of glossy, like, kind of look to it. I've got the autograph that I got from in Baltimore, again, that you gave me from Ed Powell. It was a little goon sketch. I have all that stuff in a frame. I have ones from, it's not something everybody's going to get into, but, it's nice to remember, like, you see the tumblers, and you go, I remember when I bought that. I remember where I was, who I was with. By the way, the print I bought was, for you listeners anyway, it's Poison Ivy choking out the Joker with her plants. It's freaking beautiful. It's black and white, and you can actually still purchase his artwork. His wife/girlfriend, I'm not sure which one she was, but they got married. She still runs a booth at Comic Cons. Some of the art's his, some of it's hers. And her stuff's not bad either. I almost bought, if I had the money, I would have bought a piece. She did a crazy-looking Harley Quinn I thought was awesome. But it was always good to bring something home. Like, God help me, your idea for a signature thing. And listeners, had to censor myself there a little bit. This one kid over here decides it was a good idea to have the artists and stuff at the Comic Con Book Convention in Baltimore sign a baseball.
Darn tootin', I got one. The baseball's displayed somewhere here in the safe house.
I have mine in that case with the tumbler I bought, the Batman tumbler. And I think the best one, remember that guy that you could never find but he's always there, was J.G. Jones.
Right.
He's one of the ones that signed the baseball. But the best one was handing it to Mark Waid, and he just looked at me like, something to sign. He's like, okay. And I still want to go down with a marker to a convention with not a volleyball, but a soccer ball. A full-fledged soccer ball. and out of each star, sign a little cube, and keep going around and around until I get them all signed. That's just a goofy idea for me.
And on that note, Mark, I'm going to have to cut you off. It's been great having you on. It's just that I have to get this show kind of edited and put out there for everybody to love and enjoy. So, any last words out there for those listening, Mark?
When you go to conventions, have fun. Be well. Treat the guests like they're your friends, and you'll get a good experience out of it. And for those who are wondering or who like the Joker movie that just came out, Joaquin Phoenix won for Best Actor.
Well, you heard it here first, folks. So, everybody out there, stay tuned for the app.
My face.
I don't let people, as much as you want to tell folks your Facebook, but I don't like to do that on this show. But either way, folks, stay tuned for the last bit announcements for everything in regards to the show, and see you all next week. And we are... Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that conversation that me and MadEye had. Again, I apologize for the quality. This was just a last-minute thing that we kind of put together for all of you. So, if you think it seems a little bit half-assed, I apologize for it. It was something that we wanted to talk about. I'm happy to have MadEye back on after all these years since the Electric Eye. So, again, if it seems half-assed, but it's always nice to get another person's opinion about celebrity guests at conventions, share their memories, and so forth and so on. That being said, if you guys and gals out there that are listening, that's right, all 11 of you, that's right, the last episode that we had of this last year came in, started the new year as 11. I don't think it, as of this recording, it hit 20 yet. But all of you out there who heard our last episode, or our regular listeners out there, if you want to share with us your convention stories and your convention tips and tricks, or cosplaying tips and tricks, please let us know in the comment section down below on the pin post of our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/The Long Coat Mafia Podcast. Or if you're listening to this on YouTube, leave a comment down below. And if you like what you hear, click that like button too. And while you're there, if this is your first episode, I do apologize for the quality. There are better ones probably in our back catalog and yet to come, so stay tuned! Stay tuned! 2020 should be an exciting year for us. And as some of you could tell, I'm starting to get my mojo back. I'm not feeling that burnout just yet. I'm trying to get my mojo back, and hopefully I'll get my sleep back too. That's another story. But first things first, if you leave us a comment, or you can email us at longcoatmafia@gmail.com. And if anything, the first time you'll be able to see us this year is at 4 State Comic-Con in Hagerstown, Maryland. That's right, Hagerstown, Maryland. Maybe we'll get somebody. I want to get. That's it. I want to get somebody to come in and do the monster truck type of thing. The Sunday. Come on down to the Hagerstown Convention Center or whatever it is, and do something like that. Or heck, to do a promo just like that for us to give to you guys as a promo. I think that would be awesome. But either way, back to the ending part of this episode. Let's see. If you can also direct message us on Twitter. Our Twitter handle is Long Coat Mafia. Our Instagram is also Long Coat Mafia. While you're there, please click those follow buttons, and I'm hopefully going to get back into the Twitter thing, Twitter sphere and the Instagram thing soon as my hours get back to normal, which hopefully will be next week. Yes. So, what else? What else? And what else? We do have like I said, we have a YouTube channel. Just head on, if you haven't subscribed yet, head on over to YouTube, do a search for the Long Coat Mafia Podcast, and just do I'm sorry, folks. It's been a long night, long weekend, trying to catch up on some rest and everything else. Just head on over to youtube.com and do a search for Long Coat Mafia Podcast. We are the only channel that comes up. Ignore all the bad, stupid stuff that's going to come up beneath it. We're the only channel that does come up. Hit that subscribe button. You're going to find not just episodes of this podcast. You're going to find videos that we have done in the past. We have loads of different videos. Join the 25, maybe 26. I think there might be up to 27 right now. 25 to 27 subscribers that we have so far. I'm happy for that. Just to think, about a year or so ago, we were about maybe 5. So we've grown significantly over the past year and change. We'll get into that next week when we do our year in review, including the magic number we've been trying to gun for the past 4.5 years. So we'll get into all that next week, but for now, what else do I have to tell you guys and gals? I told you about our Facebook page. I told you about our Instagram, our Twitter, our YouTube channel. Speaking of our YouTube channel, please, I do urge all of you out there listening to subscribe to our YouTube page as well as our Facebook page, because there's sometimes we put up exclusive videos strictly on our YouTube page, and sometimes we put up exclusive videos on our Facebook page. The main reason is sometimes, well, we want to post something longer and post it on YouTube, and that's what YouTube tends to like and favor, those long form videos that are about 10 minutes plus, even though everybody on YouTube tends to like everything that, or watch under 15 seconds, but still, that's a rant for another time. Maybe we'll save that with Big Candy when he's in the studio. But that's beside the point. Sometimes when we do something smaller, we'll put it strictly up on Facebook. But sometimes when we put something on YouTube, because there's something in the video that YouTube does not like, it's got to be strictly put up on Facebook because, well, YouTube is giving us issues, and therefore, put it up on Facebook. They don't really give a rat's rear. But that's why we ask you guys and gals to do that. And besides, a lot of times we put up announcements on Facebook as well, so hit that follow, like button, or subscribe button, and you'll be covered with a lot of the great the news and what's happenings that we have. Plus, sometimes we post up where we'll be at Facebook. So there's that. What else can I tell all of you? We do have a Mixer channel. It is mixer.com/LCMP. Those letters are capitalized. Let me put it like this. We also have a Twitch channel. Our Twitch channel is twitch.tv/ Long Coat Mafia Pod. We'll put up links to, there's links in the show description, and there's, when we do live stream on either Twitch or Mixer, we'll let you guys and gals know when we do so, or if we live stream on Twitch. We did try last year to live stream, kind of a introductory to, Halo Reach Forge, or Halo the Master Chief Collection Forge, the best maps to do that, and kind of OBS/YouTube chopped it up into 2 videos. We had no control over that. So we might strictly, when we do live stream, put it up on either Facebook, Mixer, or Twitch. And in this upcoming February, we'll be doing a live map making session for the charity stream that Victims and Villains is doing next month in February. When that event gets closer, we will see how things unfold with that. We'll let you all of you know. More than likely, it will be on Twitch. And since we know how to do it through our laptop, and our laptop is not equivalent to a potato, we'll be able to do that. Let's see, what else? We do have a TikTok account. We only have 1 video on it and maybe 12 subscribers. I think we are LCM Pod on TikTok. So hopefully this year we'll put up some more. That could be our show's New Year's resolution. More TikTok videos. Let's see. What else? Oh yes, listening to our show on the go. or I should say, catching our show if you're listening to one way and you need other ways to get it because there is a issue. As you probably heard on the Skype call, me referencing past episodes. The best way to get our past episodes, if they're not coming up on like Apple Podcasts or iTunes, the best way to get them is our main website, which is thelongcoatmafia.podbean.com. Going there, you can stream episodes, download episodes. It's all for free. If you're on your laptop or your desktop computer, that's easy to do. If you're doing it on the go, you need the Podbean app. We'll get to that in a minute. But if you're listening to us on your desktop or your laptop computer, you can get us on one of several locations. One is iTunes. The other is Spotify. Another great way of doing it is Stitcher Radio. Plus, again, we have our main website, which is thelongcoatmafia.podbean.com. Great way to get it. Go all the way back to the beginning. All the interviews we've done and conventions and independent interviews, local people, and the whatnot. Plus, the panels that we've gotten in the past from like 2016, the Paracon panels. Plus, the interviews, the 4-state panels we've done in the past and snagged in the past. Are all there. We did we got a Star Wars panel. I think it was posted up in 2017, maybe 2016. So go check those out. Go to our main website and check those out. What else? To hear us on the go. Now, I might say, let me specify this. If you go to our website and you download the episodes, you can also stream them and listen to them. But if you can't get them, please check out your local library. Get yourself a decent jump drive. Jump drives are cheap at Walmart. Literally, you could find them for like $5. 32, like a 16 gig or 32 gig for $5. Pick up a jump drive. Take it to your local library. Get on their internet. Hop on our website. Download the episodes you want to listen to. Bring them home. Listen to them on your leisure. I know the Martinsburg Public Library, if you don't have a valid library card, you're charged $1. And you could have an internet connection for an hour. You could probably download all our episodes in an hour. So, and you're more than welcome to do that. I'll get a shock. Hey, somebody downloaded 46 episodes. Holy crap. Look at our numbers. But if you choose to do that, I'm happy for you. You're going to see one happy podcaster right here. But if you got to listen to us on the go on a mobile device, you can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Play Podcasts, what else? Spotify, Stitcher Radio. I don't know if I said it. Google Podcasts, plus the Podbean app. That's right. A good chance with the Podbean app, you can get all our episodes going back to the beginning. And the good thing about bookmarking our main website, which again is the Long Coat Mafia at Podbean. It's at. It's been a long night, folks, and I still have to post this episode. Our main website is thelongcoatmafia.podbean.com. You can download the still get the episodes there, or bookmark that site just in case iTunes or what have you goes wonky for the day. You'll still be able to get our latest episode. But if you're listening to us on the go, the Podbean app is the way to go. What else? I think that's about it. It's been a long night, folks. Please forgive me. I still have a lot of rest to catch up on, and I want to catch up on. So please forgive me for thinking about me for a little while, or me trying to promote stuff and everything else for a little while, because I want to get my energy back for this show. And by God, I need the stinking rest. I need to think about me for a little bit. And plus, I want to make sure my co-host and those that deal with our show are getting the proper stuff they need to be the best they can be on our show, so I can be the best I can be. So please forgive me. Please bear with me. I know I'm trying to get back into that positive mode. If I am, I want you guys to help me out to get back into that positive mode. You know, I know I'm asking a lot. I know I'm sounding narcissistic. I know I'm sounding self-centered, but I need to get that aspect of the extrovert type of thing of feeding off y'all's energy. Because without you all, this show is nothing. Without the guests that come on the show like MadEye Marky, happy to come on. I know this wasn't our strongest episode, especially to start the year, but we need to start the year some way, somehow, and I need to get my energy back. So, come on, folks. Help celebrate this show. Help us get us motivated for the year to go. As all of you know, I'll talk to anybody. Hopefully, this year will be the best year ever for us. The oddest year ever for us. Meaning, if I could get somebody odd to talk to on this show, hopefully it will be the best thing ever. So I'm going to leave you all out there. It's not going to be hanging, but I'm going to have to go. I need some rest. I need to post this episode up for all of you to listen to. Take care. I'll see all of you guys and gals and who knows out there later. So take care. See you next week.
You've been listening to the Long Coat Mafia podcast, the internet's most hated and mafia-themed geek podcast.